On October 14th, 2008, I received a call asking me to play at a private party. This would have required me leaving rehearsal an hour early. I wrote to Larry, "I do have one conflict that just came up that I hope we can work out without too much trouble. It's Friday of next week, the 24th, a cocktail party that starts at 6:30 in Crozet. It pays $300. I only mention that so that you assess my situation accurately. That's my minimum for private parties. And this close to showtime, I wouldn't even consider doing this for anything less." Unquote. Our contract states on September 1st of 2008, as we were going over the terms, I would also need, this is me writing, I would also need for there to be room for flexibility in changing days, as most likely, especially on Fridays, high-paying gigs will pop up. As you can see, even though our contract states that I can do this, I still waited until I asked Larry. I didn't even think about it, it's just automatic. So imagine my reaction when my response is, "Perhaps we should have discussed what it meant to be an accompanist to start with, but I think it's best we get it flat now." He then proceeds to breach contract numerous times, flagrantly so, and also makes it clear that he hasn't the slightest clue what he's talking about, and that he has no business whatsoever anywhere near a musical production. He concludes his email with the words, "If you can't do the job, please tell me immediately so I'm not more stuck than I'd be if you left at the last minute." I know I keep repeating this, and maybe it's getting old, but it keeps coming up in all these different contexts. My experience, his experience, what it means to be an accompanist, me breaching contract, him having breached contract. Your website states that one of the philosophies, actually I think it was the basic philosophy of your school, is that everyone should treat everyone with respect, with the understanding that we can learn from anyone. As in his mind, I was the musical director, and as little as he knows about music, literally way less than your average layman non-musician, do you think he is following the Tandem Friend School philosophy? I have never been late for a rehearsal, nor have I left early. I have conducted myself professionally at all times. The one time before that I was hired by Larry, he breached contract. Now, I'm asking for permission for something that our contract states I don't need permission for. There was never any mention of any conflict on the night of the shows. There was no miscommunication. This wasn't the reason. This is going to come up again, because still we don't know why he wrote this. He said go ahead and leave early that day. We still had another interaction to get to before we got this. There was never anything to do with me quitting, but he can't fire me because I've done nothing wrong. So the only way to get rid of me so that he can give the job to his friend is to accuse me of being the kind of unprofessional, contract-breaching person that he has proven himself to be, after I have proven myself at all times utterly reliable and dependable and professional in every way, and tell me it would be better for me to breach contract sooner than later. Like I say, we haven't even gotten to the reason that he wrote that. We'll get to that soon enough. But first, more on what it means to be an accompanist. My day doesn't start and end on one building, on one little hill. I work some here, some there, this school, that school, restaurants. I have students from all schools, including yours. I have a reputation to protect. My livelihood depends on it. If I do actually quit the show, I have a public to answer to. Larry actually, after the entire time not allowing musical rehearsals and even denying their existence, calling it my practice, running train wreck after train wreck, actually listed me in the newspaper, in the Daily Progress, as the musical director. I have people, students, parents, prospective students, appreciators of my work, people who hear me playing background music at cocktail parties, who say they want to hear me in the right setting, in an actual show, which I've told them is unlikely around here. They might have to go to Richmond or D.C. because this town just doesn't pay. Emailing me and saying that they saw the article and are looking forward to checking out my work as musical director. I have no choice but to tell them what is going on in your school. I have no choice. When I tell them, the responses are always the same, whichever of countless incidents I pick that day to report. And obviously I can't bend everybody's ear like this. I can just tell them one or two things. Singers can't sing on top of pianos, so they have to sing on top of an amplified rock band, whatever. Any of these things. I mean, I won't get started because that's what this is all about. Consistently, overwhelmingly, and over several times, the response is, quote, no, I shouldn't say quote because it's differently every time. The response is something to the effect of, obviously, the theater director at Tandem Friends School is severely mentally ill. If I quit because Larry is literally impossible to work for, people need to know why. They have a right to know what's going on in your school. They also have a right to know that I am indeed reliable and dependable, and they can hire me. They can, not can't, can. Yes, they can. Really, it's okay. Here's what's going on over there. No one has suggested that I didn't do the right thing. It's obvious. Except for one person. The person who referred me to Larry. And that is because she never listened. She was too furious. Understandably so. She has been in theater for 40 or 50 years and has never seen that happen. Nobody I've talked to has ever heard of this. It is unheard of. An accompanist walking out on a show less than a week before opening night. She begged me to go back, which I tried to do. And I tried to tell her that. She wasn't listening. She said she couldn't imagine being in a show and having that happen. Needless to say, she will never refer me again to anyone. That is a problem for anyone, anytime. And especially in this business, especially in this economy, along with your school saying this about me, I have a huge problem with that. Let's get to the bottom of this.